I swear this is not a clickbait video, right? If you click into it, it is about how I made my 6 figures by the time I'm 30s. I made a similar video before in my review channel, but I felt like this is another iteration of it. Just talks about how I made it rather than talking about my daily routines. And I personally, I'm not a talented people at all. I'm a high school dropout and I barely speak any English when I was in the UK 15 years ago. It's quite a journey for me to be here today, and obviously 6 figures is incompatible with millionaire by the time of the 20s and things like that, but I guess it's something for me because I never have something to be proud of when I was a kid. You know, I just play games all the time and I didn't have a goal in life, and people around me thinking I'm a failure anyway. And very luckily my parents decided to send me into the UK to get my foundations in University of Sunderland, and after that the rest is just history, where I get into Brookes University in Oxford and I just do my devil's careers afterwards. So in this video I just want to talk about how I hit my 6-digit figure salaries, and there's no talent required, just hard work you need, especially to those people who are in 20s at the moment. You still have a chance to make it. It's not how people think about. I think there's a lot of things on the internet that's people saying the maximum salary you can get 50k, and that's one of the highest average salary in the UK. I would say that's not true. Yeah, it still depends on what areas of specialty you go in. Getting that 6 figures is possible during 30s. Some people achieve that a lot earlier, but depends on how hard you want to work around it. So in this video, I would like to talk about the first section of my video. That's the identifying high demand skills. You might think this is self-explanatory things again. You know, everyone want to take the high demand skills. You talk about coding, blah blah blah, and all that. It's not just it. The high demand skills in the UK is tradesmen, bricklayers, and electrician. And people say, what you're talking about? That's the truth. And you do not want to jump in and hope that you can get 6 figures straight away. It takes amount of time, experience, and effort and hard. But for me at the moment, in the next 10 years, I would say in the UK, because there's lack of labourer, a good labourer, plumber especially, and then electrician, and after that bricklayer, carpenters, these are all good skills to attain now, even though I say so is because it's so difficult to find a good one. And the next bit is obviously coding as well, right? Coding, it depends. It's not about just jump into the coding and be good at it. You actually need to be good at integrations. Nowadays with ChatGPT, generative AI, you can get a lot of coding snippets a lot more easier. People can jump into coding a lot more simpler than it used to be, but it doesn't mean that the career is going. It makes the entry level a lot harder, but then things that are a lot more hard to get in does mean that you have more chance to stay in that area and be specialized on it. And coding for the next 10 years will be integration. You will integrate things from A to B. I wish I would like to talk about it more, but my next video probably talks about how devil's career will make you a 6-digit career. But for now, the gist of it is that get a high demand skills, and I would say tradesman is one of them, coding is still one of them, video editing definitely another one, accountant as well. But all of these work that I'm talking about, right, ultimately it's not about working 9-to-5 job for someone else. It's still possible, but I think to quickly gain around that, the 6 figures, thing is that you have to do contracting with that high demand skills, which I just mentioned just now. And then the next bit is skill development and certifications. Same things in tradesmen. You have obviously your experience counts. I talked to a lot of tradesmen. I understood that they didn't really, give a toss about what is, your diploma in carpentry, plumbers, and blah 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 and things like that. But it's still good to have fundamental skills around it, and then understanding what's the latest trends in tradesman world, and then also understanding the latest trend in salaries as well, in coding especially, most importantly. For myself, when I back in just 8 years ago, loads of people looked down. Is look down the right word to say? It's a very Asian way to say look down. We didn't appreciate the fact that you would have certification in cloud computing, because certification is quite useless in coding world. Same thing in tradesmen, skills matter, but there are people who will appreciate the fact that you spend time learning those certifications. It will get your CV goes through the door, and the rest is just how you present yourself. Second top from my video, certification and self-skill development is still important, I would say. And I'm not saying that getting all the sort of that, but identifying the certification you need to get is pretty important going forward. And then thirdly, is something I'm doing right now, which is building a personal brand. Is something I regret that I didn't do it, right? Back then in 2014 and 15, I was one of the few AWS consultant in the UK, because AWS is still not quite famous just yet. And I didn't do blogging, I didn't do video talks about my certifications, what's AWS. And if I would have done it, I would have made myself a brand, and the work now will be a lot more easier. So now I'm restarting that, I'm doing it, although I'm not doing that as a brand of good AWS engineers, but I'm doing it as a kind of middle-aged people talking about finance as a migrants, and then showing off my life in Oxford University as a part-time student. And hopefully going around that, people will know me a little bit better. And then after that, probably I would dive into technical content again. But for now, that's my directions. But again, building a brand is very important going forward. And having that brand, having that blog, that people knows you, people get in touch with you, and that leads to job opportunities and so on. And one more thing before we jump into the next section of videos is that it's not necessarily you need to be pristinely good at it, just to talk about your experience, sharing, your day-to-day life, and how's that interested. I used to think that's not going to interest to anyone, but I was wrong, right? And I have a few colleagues that do exactly the same thing. Now they build themselves a brand, they found themselves a path, and loads of large companies looking for them to do contracting work, and they never run out of work ever again, which is a good thing. So the next thing is strategic networking. Also something I'm trying to do right now, and pretty bad at it, but I did okay, which lead me to six figures. And unfortunately, raw technical power will not get you big money, right? If you're one of those who are currently in 60k, 70k in DevOps career, in IT career, then the next thing you have to do is networking, period. And it's chain related to what I just mentioned just now. If you have built your brand, if people knows about you, then your networking will expand, and people knows more about you, and people will, if there's a requirement in the work itself, people will think of you straight away, and they will contact you. Even in a 9-to-5 job, climbing corporate ladders, people still need to know who are you. The senior leadership team needs to know who are you, what you can do, and what you can offer. And this is probably one of the things a technical guy didn't like to do it, even myself as well, right? It sounds like a bit cringiness, like showing off, talking about it. I would like to use my work to showing off, but it's usually not the case. And then next one is the art of negotiations. It's pretty important in this, because every time you land a contract or land a new job offer, you will need to negotiate it. I'll tell you what, and it's that in my side hustles are offering some of the service to my client. I would like to have the client, but at the same time, I would like to charge a bit more of that. So if I don't learn how to negotiate, then I will always offering those money in the low end, and I ended up feeling like I'm wasting my time putting this amount of effort and not getting a good amount of return. And this is a bit that I'm still trying to learn, that master of negotiations, how to talk to people in a nice way. When you think about it over that chains, so you develop yourself. Once you develop yourself, then you let people know who are you. You have the networking, and then after that, you start to negotiate, talk to people, and eventually that experience and the opportunity just lands in front of your footsteps. Literally, that's what happened to me. And the next one is embracing the risk and opportunities. Whenever there's new contracts coming in, for example, we got two contracts. One's $300, another one's $500. But $300 is the larger company and will land you a better opportunity on going forward. The $500 one is a startup probably, and the work is a one-off. So which one you will pick? Sometimes people will pick $500 one because they won't need money at the same time. But for me, I will pick the $300 one because there is a risk that they're not going to renew the opportunities. But this work backward, right? And then you master negotiations, you're able to network with them, right? The way you negotiate with them, you're able to renew a contract. So if you have any comments you would like to share. I really genuinely want to, having communication with you guys. Just leave your comments down below. I'll definitely reply to you guys. And if you like the videos, subscribe to me. And my whole channel is about my part-time university course in Oxford University, plus talking about finance as a migrant in the UK and grinding at age 30s as well. So that's it for the video. I will see you next time.